we're going to kick it off with networking, building professional relationships. So
Yeah, I think we started to go down this rabbit hole when we were talking earlier. And it was more of as a business owner to the customer. And I think it's good that we're making that segue over to, okay, now how do we talk to other business owners and how do we foster those relationships? So you primarily do B2B photography and videography and for their marketing, right?
Yes. And I will say it is a struggle.
Yeah. And I'll say that you're probably the subject matter expert when it comes to this topic because as an agent, my customer is a customer, a client, right? It's sometimes it's other business owners that, need property done or they want to invest in property or even buy a house. And I have to still be able to network to other business owners. But they're not always my customer. Whereas for you, they are like probably 90 to 100% of your customers are businesses.
Yes. As of the past, the beginning when I started was a lot of, I don't know, should I go down the backstory of where I came from, a little bit of it, or just like the transition?
That way people have some context of like where you're at now. Because, there's so many ways with photography too, is like, okay, I have a passion for photography. I want to make money off of it. Okay. What route do I go down? Do I do weddings? Do I do events? Do I do products? Do I go marketing for businesses? So what led you to where you're at?
Where led me to where I'm at now is that, so I started doing photography when I was like 14 years old. My dad bought me a little Canon PowerShot that I begged him for. And that led to me like just shooting my friends and just kind of geeking out back then about it. But when I got my first DSLR, I was playing music in high school and I went to a local show here, and I've never seen a photographer at a local show. And her name was Laura, and the photos that she was popping off were amazing, just freaking amazing. It was like slow motion, so like the concert lights were always blurry, and like the people's guitars were out of focus and they were in focus. She did an amazing job.
She lengthened, what is it, the aperture, the shutter speed?
Yeah, and it was cool. She always did an amazing job, and I was always just blown away by the work. I was like, I'm gonna try it. And so that led me down that path, but I was always amazed. I found this photographer, I forget his name because it's been so long, but I see his photo in my head. But Thera, they're a local band here in Alaska. They went down when they were living in the States, had their photos done by him, and he used a lot of flash photography. And that's when I started learning about lighting and the importance of it as a photographer in those younger years. So I focused a lot of my younger years focusing on portrait photography and shooting bands and concerts and developing a style with portrait photography. And I think being a portrait photographer and taking it and adding a twist to it, showing not just my style as an artist, as a photographer, but showing the people that are in it and what they value and what their creative side is or what they're using these portraits for, or them as an artist as well. And being able to portray my side and their side has been a key goal of mine as a photographer, and showcasing them as a person. Okay. And leading that into it. But taking from that point in my life to saying, I want to do this as a business, was when I had to realize who was paying for photography and who was not paying for photography.
You have to, before you start a business, you have to know what the market is.
But what helped me was, as a younger years, was I was developing relationships. And when I look back at it, those people that were always shoot up are in bands and the local shops, or the guys who are starting like t-shirt companies and things like that, or just doing graphic art that wanted some stuff displayed of themselves and documented, was a relationship. And the funny thing is, 5 years down the road, those dudes were making money and hiring me to do work. And so it was building relationships that led me down the path of long-term contracts. And that's when I found out that contracts were huge for me. And that's when I realized this is where the money's at. I'll do this. But I'm in a place now where the B2B chase is rough. And as the industry changed for me, I had to, one, develop a style and develop a plan that fit the industry as it is now, with being so washed out by other photographers.
Yeah, you have to have something that stands you out from the crowd, right? Yeah. Why they would want to work with you. So,
and having multiple tools in your bag. Don't just rely on the one, but if it can relate to you as a photographer and how to, like, I teach consulting, data consulting, and like social media use for B2B businesses.
Yeah.
I'll teach them that. And having that extra something in my bag as a photographer, like, oh, you do that? Well, yeah, I'll even run your social media for you.
Yeah, because you got to think about the bigger picture of why they're hiring you in the first place. Like if you're a videographer or a photographer and you have a company that's hiring you for pictures, what are they most likely using those pictures for? Mm-hmm. Marketing, right? And if you can provide additional value to, like, hey, I know you're going to use these for marketing, or obviously you're a business hiring me to take photos of your products. Did you know that I can do this, and this for you?
Yeah.
Because they've got it stuck in their head. They're like, okay, we got to hire a photographer. Then we're going to take that. We're going to put it on this marketing campaign. And they think they have it all figured out already. And you're just a part of that pie.
Yeah.
But if you can do your part, do it really well, and then bring the cherries on top, they're going to be like, holy shit. Yeah. And then that's how you continue deepening that relationship with that business.
And I think, like, when I look at you and the work that you do, is that I think when people look at a real estate agent, hey, I need you to help me buy this house. All right, cool. I'll put the offer in, do the paperwork, send it over, tell the company, done. But really, like, I've even done this with you. It's like, hey, who do I call about this? Or where do I go about my insurance? Or who can I call for, maintenance work, or vice versa? You always had an answer for me and who to contact. And really what you're providing is you are being a middleman for B2B.
Yeah, I am a home ownership, like, Yellow Pages, pretty much. Not only am I going to help you find the right home or sell your current home, whatever that primary service is, right? I am also going to be the guy that connects you with everything else you're going to need regarding that home, that product that I sell.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like a Chevy dealership, yes, they sell vehicles, but they also have a service department. They have aftermarket parts. They have all this other stuff that is around the original product. Yeah. They provide answers for that too. If they just had cars and trucks on their lot and that's it, they do okay, but they wouldn't be nearly as successful as if they had all the things that they have now with the aftermarket and the service and everything else.
Yeah. And that's where I see your relationships as part of professionalism is highly important. Building those relationships as far as you doing business, not just as a real estate agent, but providing more value as an agent to your client. Because if it wasn't for you knowing who does construction work after someone buys a home to update their home.
Yep.
If it's not something you're not speaking that hey, by the way, if you guys want any of this remodeled, hey, I know a guy that can do your plumbing, et cetera.
Yeah. Not only that, but I have to have a full roster of everything, because there could be, you need a plumber. Okay. I got my guy. Okay, he's unavailable. I got my next guy and my next guy and my next guy. And if I run out of my roster, I need to have other people I can ask, like, hey, who's a good plumber around? That's my job, is to have those rosters for people set up. So
now, as you as an agent and having a roster, like you're just saying, having X, Y, and Z as far as, contractors that can do this type of work or help you pursue another avenue of the housing industry and the things that they need. And they're calling you, for example, I'm calling you for X, Y, and Z, and you look at your roster. Are you maintaining relationships with the people that are on those rosters as far as a personal relationship, or are you just keeping it business and just bringing work to them when you have it, to maintain a professional relationship and contain to where that electrician says, hey, dude, I got this guy that's an agent, like, he's perfect for you. Like, I'm always fucking advertising your work. I'm like, call this guy up.
I appreciate that. I actually just passed your information along to a couple of agents as well that are not real estate photography, but other things that they want to do.
Yeah.
But that's how it is, right?
That's right.
No, it's going to be a business relationship first, right? Mm-hmm. If you are that person on my roster, it's because you fill a need and you do it well, because I am attaching my reputation to your service when I recommend stuff to you. Just like every time you recommend somebody to me, your reputation is on the line.
Yeah.
Because if you recommend a bad recommendation, not only are the person you recommended to gonna not like this person, but they're also not gonna like your taste in people, or they're not gonna think that you know the best people. So I need to make sure that when I send business to another business, I'm attaching my reputation to that. So if they're not going to do a good job first, then I'm not going to have them on my roster. Now, there are several people that are on my, service provider vendor list that I do have personal relationships with, because most of the time they are starting out, like home inspectors or insurance agents. They're getting started what's their first stop?
Yeah.
Real estate agents.
Yep.
You know, we are the center of it all between the lenders, the title companies, the insurance companies. They all get business from us. So when they're starting out, they're coming to us to build relationships.
That's right.
And a few of them I do have really good personal relationships with, but that's because they are squared away business first. You know, so it's really just case by case basis. But when it comes to those professional relationships, it's professional first. And then if I find out through working together that I like you, then let's go and like have a beer together or like do that. But yeah, it's always professional first.
Yep, it is. And it's, when I look at myself, that's where I'm working on. I've said before in the other podcasts is where I'm working on is building relationships with my photography. And I look at the long-term relationships, and I think the longest relationship with anybody that I've done photography work, other than on an actual personable level that I've created, is with Maddie. And a lot of people know Maddie from doing a lot of shoots with me for backcountry stuff. If it wasn't for doing the backcountry photography I've done and created and developed with Maddie, and have turned into people like Black Diamond, Backcountry Apparel, and the REI and things like that, is that those photo shoots that we went out on as just friends, and the gear that she had on, knowing like that was the style and the things that she was in, knowing how to, one, as an artist and as an influencer of media content, is taking that and turning it into content to be used in a branded way that could be bought or sold or contracted out as advertisement for X company.
Yeah, because if a company is smart about their marketing, they are putting out images and content that's relatable to their customer.
Yeah.
You know, like an outdoors gear company is not going to take models into a city or a subway station for a photo shoot. Or, you know, they're not going to do the same things that, say, like Gucci and Versace do with their marketing teams. You know, they're going to do something different. They're going to want to showcase what their potential customer is going to use this product for.
Yep. And I think it's when you find someone, you probably can relate to this, when you find someone that does X work and they do it good and they can provide value to you as just an individual that's not doing something on a professional level, but it's bringing you value, whether it's for a side hustle or just general passion and joy. For me, I continue to work with them. And since I saw that me and Maddie can create this developing content, I have kept that open relationship. And still to this day, every time we've shot together, a photo is blown up, a photo has sold or has been shared, or it's brought me work. And that has been game changer for me. And same thing with like my brother, is that the 3 times that we've gone out and gone venturing, like the last time was when he graduated high school. We flew a helicopter out to Interlake, and shot on the glacier. That photo was bought out by the brewery in town, and they used it as advertising on the can. I never thought of it, but it led to a relationship with that company.
Yeah, you never know, and that's the thing. You never know who you're talking to.
That's right,
and you never know what's going to happen. And you have to. I mean, that's just a life lesson: is to just treat everyone with respect. It doesn't matter what impression they give you at first. You could be talking to somebody that could potentially change your life. You know, you can meet somebody out skiing on a chairlift, or you can meet somebody out at the bar or at a lunch, and they could be like, "Oh, what do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, you know, I'm a real estate agent," or for you, you know, I do video and photography.
Yeah.
And they can be like, "Really?" And like, "Show me what you do. Tell me about it." And then next thing you know, they have like, "Hey, I actually have been thinking about doing this, or I have this need for you. You know, let's talk about it more." And then you foster that relationship, and then it turns into more and more relationships, like we were talking about last episode.
That's right.
So
do you tend not to be shyful about what you do for business when you meet somebody new?
No, I'm not shyful at all. I mean,
do you advertise yourself personally when you meet somebody, or is it something you bring up within the first conversation, or is it?
Oh, that depends on the venue.
It depends on the venue.
100% depends on the venue. If I'm going to a specific networking event, like an industry event, like a chamber of commerce meeting, for example, like I'm there representing myself as a business, right? So of course I'm going to go around telling people what I do, what I provide, and then letting them get to know me a little bit, right? Because that's the flip side of the coin, is nobody wants to sit there and be preached at like, "Oh, I do X, Y, Z. I can do this for you." They feel like they're being sold. But if you're just like, hey, I'm a real estate agent, I specialize in X, Y, and Z, and then I got 2 kids at home and a wife. I live in Niagara Pass. I like going out shooting guns and doing all this. They're like, oh, yeah, like I know him. I want to work with him, So
yeah, and that's how I kind of always brought up my photography work, other than like showcasing it on social media, I guess, is that I'm like, oh, I do photo work. Let me come out and, shoot your stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess now when I look at the type of work I'm doing now and the type of work where I want to take my work is within more of the physical adventure, like the deep backcountry and hunting and the fishing aspect of companies, but showing the people that are using it and doing the lifestyle side of the photography. Now I got to be more blunt about it. Like, hey man, like you do hunting and fish, dude, you should let me go out and shoot some photos for you. I'll do this first set for free. You want me to go out again with your guide? Let me know.
Yeah. And get excited for their stuff. Like, dude, I've always wanted to go and shoot a hunt. Can I go with you? Because then it doesn't seem like they're being sold to.
Yeah. And if you can provide value that way, and that's how I did a lot of my work. And a lot of photographers that argue with me about this in the past is when a lot of photographers, especially like wedding photographers, you don't get all your fucking photos.
No.
You pay a large sum of money and they give you little in fucking return. Yeah. And as a provider of something as myself, I don't know if you have something that can relate to this, but when I provide the photos, you get everything. I'll edit what I want to edit in the banger shots that I know that are fire, but you'll get everything. And if there's something that you want edited in my style again, let me know the number. I'll edit it for you, no problem. Yeah. But you get everything. You get everything, just not the raws. And but I hold the rights to them forever. But people have always valued like, wow, I pay that much money, which is a lot of money. But like, holy crap, you shot me for 3 hours, for just doing a headshot, and we went out and shot my life for the day, and I paid you, $2,000. Well, and you gave me, 5,000 plus photos that aren't edited, but you gave me, 300 that are edited. Man, that's killer content. That's so valuable. And people
that'll last you a while.
Like the value that people see and that can see from it keep coming back.
Yeah, it's the 51-49 rule.
What is that? I've never heard of that.
I don't know. I don't know if it's like an actual thing that's out there, but I think I heard it originally from, it does. I think it's a Gary Vee thing. I think I heard him say it a couple years ago on a clip. It's always give 51% and ask for 49. Always. It doesn't matter. And even more than that, if you want to give 55, 60, 70% and ask for 30 in return, to foster a relationship. Mm-hmm. But with every single transaction, every single service you provide, product you sell, always give 51% of the value and ask for 49 in return, right? So if the value is your price or, anything like that, always give 51% of that transaction.
Yeah.
So that's the key right there to fostering a good relationship and having a good reputation. But, and then the flip side of that is, okay, I talk to other business professionals one way in a networking setting. Now, when I'm out doing my own thing and I run across somebody and meet somebody new and they start asking, do I talk about work all the time? Mm-hmm. And the answer is yes. I still say what I do for work. That's a part of my life. It's part of me, and they want to get to know me, but that's not the focus of the conversation. Yeah. So you have to remember to drop it, let them know, and say, I try to, like, when someone asks about me, I try to say like 3 to 5 things about me and then 2 or 3 things about what I do.
Yeah.
I want them to remember more about me and remember me, not just remember, oh, I met a real estate agent last night. No, I met Jake last night and he's a real estate agent.
Yep. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. That's the key right there.
Yeah. So I guess the biggest value for people is just don't be shyful about what you do for work. 2 would be, start being more outgoing with people and work on building those relationships with just the everyday people that you come across that you might have not thought, like the girls at the coffee shop, for instance, or the guy at the bakery, or the guy that works in your car every 6 months, something like that. If you can remember someone's name and make them feel valued by remembering just a simple name and knowing their name in public away from their place of work, I guarantee you they will always remember you. And the simplest things hold relationships for a lifetime. Relationships
is business, and relationships are life. Yep. Even if you don't own a business or have a service you provide, even if you just have a normal job and you're just going out and meeting people, remember this stuff.
Yeah.
These kind of skills are going to build relationships throughout your life, and you're going to have this book of people that you've met in your life at the end of your life, and you're going to look and be like, holy hell.
Yep.
Like, I have so many people that know and love me, and I have such a fulfilled life because of how I treated people.
That's right. Because even with not freelancing and working for a business, your relationship with the business owner, the manager, the storefront manager, all is very important. Your coworkers are very important. How you are perceived by the people around you that you're working with at a place of business is very important, because you might not always have that freelance work. You might not always have that job, but like my line of work in the oil and gas industry, my relationships with people, the other contracted companies there, has led me to working where I am now.
Yeah.
By relationships, by work relationships, not outside of work relationships.
Exactly.
By being there and just being Austin at work.
Yeah. There's no harm that can come from getting good at fostering relationships. It's something that I neglected for way too long.
And I guess it's where, like you said, that giving the 51%, I gave a lot to be where I am now for my work.
Exactly.
A lot of time. So
and not a second of it's wasted.
Be mindful. Always go above and beyond for your relationships, because you never know what's going to take you.
Absolutely. I think that's a good note to wrap it up on, man.
Yeah, man. That was a good one.
Yeah,
Thanks
absolutely.
for coming out.
Yep. Till next time.